everyone, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. So this video is a live that I just did today, about 4 or 5 hours ago from when this video went live, over on Facebook in the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group. So I've started off by just wetting my plain white piece of paper, and I'm using my Distress Oxide ink refills, and I've just squirted those as is straight into a little palette. And because the paper is wet, they're just smoothly running on to the page, and that looks pretty cool. I actually got 3 different cups of water today because I've noticed before with the water getting dirty, I don't like how that changes the colour. It affects the Distress Oxides. So I've decided I want to try and keep clean water happening today. So yeah, so the first one is Marigold. The second one is Picked Raspberry. Thomas is throwing pear at me, so now I'm eating it. Cheeky. So if you notice that there's a little bit of action going on with my hands here, it's because this is live. I have tried to edit it down. It was about 2.5 hours worth of live. Sorry, thank you to those amazing people that watched the entire thing. It was quite long. So I've sped this up and I have cut out a chunk if I could. It was difficult to cut out too much because obviously there was a lot going on, but there were a few bits when my son needed me and I actually left the live for a minute. So of course, with the beauty of editing, I'm able to cut those kind of things out. So yeah, so I'm just up to painting all 3 of my colors. I then get my heat gun and blow that dry, which sort of changes the color of the paints. It kind of mutes it a little bit. You can sort of see in that yellow that there are stars already stamped on the page. I tried to do white embossing, but my heat gun decided to, I thought die, thankfully not die, it just overheated and it is back to life again. But in the meantime, I decided to go with the tone-on-tone look, and I have put my same stamp, which is a Bo Bunny stamp, and I have put stars in matching colours. So I am using my Kitaholics kit. I am mostly using the new kit that is released for April. The Destruxide inks that I'm using are from the month before. So the blue one is called Blueprint Sketch. The pink is called Picked Raspberry, and the yellow is called Dried Marigold. And then the inks that I am using to match for the stamps, on the blue I am using the Memento Nautical Blue. On the yellow I am using Peanut Brittle by Memento, and on the pink, these are all teardrop inks by the way, on the pink I am using Memento Rosebud. I think Rosebud. I did have Rosebud. I did have Love Notes out, but I went with Rosebud. So you can see that I cut the gorgeous hot air balloon cut file, which is from the March releases, but decided not to bank any of the cut file. I really wanted to stick it down as is. I did leave sort of parts of the leaves and flowers poking up so I could slide my photos in underneath. But yeah, I really wanted to go with sort of see-through effect of the cut file. I then stuck my 2 vertical photos flat down on the page, but put the horizontal photo of me and my girlfriends up on foam. Well, I'm about to. You will see that. I also off camera backed the photos. So they are backed with a white and then a sort of baby pink and a baby blue. So yeah, so that's what's happening. So obviously in the live cross, I did all of these things together with you guys watching. And in this version, edited, sped up, cut out version, I was able to cut out a whole bunch of things that have been happening. I'm currently sitting outside with my gorgeous boys. They are very busy playing lots of different games. Jack has got something going on with all of his cars and trucks and trains, making a big line. And Thomas has got out the toy leaf blower and he's cleaning up the garden. For me or for Jack? For Jack. So next, I am getting on to embellishing. So I've got the gorgeous Pink Fresh Studios bows, fabric bows. I'm going to make one of the little mini bows for this layout. I've pulled, even though this layout is 99% Cocoa Vanilla Legendary Collection, I have pulled out a little bit of the girly stuff that Steph snuck in from Kitaholics Kits, that Steph snuck in. I love the way she tries to make these kits suitable for both. Like, you can use the Cocoa Vanilla stuff completely in its entirety and make a really boy layout. You can use it and put a female spin on it, or you can use the aspects of the girlier stuff that she included in the kit and add that to your layout. So I've decided to go with the girlier things at the moment, mostly because I've seen the photos I'm choosing to scrap for the month using my kit, and every single other photo is pretty masculine, so I kind of like the idea of getting my female kick happening now. So once I have done my fabric bow, I'm also going to use quite a bit of the exclusive cutter parts, which means there's going to be quite a bit of fussy cutting happening in this layout. So again, thanks to the amazing people that stuck around watching, because it was quite a fiddly little layout that I ended up doing. I didn't mean for it to be so fiddly, it just kind of happened. I love this paper with all the words on it. I just want to cut all those little words up and use them all. They're just the best. And I love that they cater for all things. Like, there's a grandma and a grandpa and a vacation, and it's just, yeah, an awesome set. Sorry if you end up being able to hear people in the background. My husband's having, I wish you could see my air quote fingers. My husband's having mates over for a boys' night or a boys' afternoon. It's 4 p.m. So it's their very first Zoom catch up. So they are all having a virtual beer together, they aren't actually watching the horse racing. So here in Australia, all of our sport has shut down, as most countries, but horse racing is still racing in an empty stadium or an empty racetrack. So the boys are watching the horse racing on the TV in their own lounge rooms, but they've all got Zoom on and they're having a beer together, which I think is awesome. I think stereotypically girls are going to be so much better at catching up, again in inverted commas, than boys are. So I think it's really wonderful that my husband's mates have really taken on this initiative and are jumping on board with it. I think it's great. So there I am going through all the exclusive cutter parts that come with the Kitaholics kits. There are so many, you guys. There are like 10 pages, I think, of exclusive cutter parts once you go through all of the Project Life cards, and then there's like an entire page of florals and an entire page of stars. Like, it's just incredible. There are so many. So for this layout, I'm going to pull on mostly the florals because, as I said, I kind of want this to be a little bit girly, and I'm thinking I might even go and cover up some of the floral on the hot air hair balloon. In the live cross, I mentioned that in hindsight, if I could do this layout again, I would have backed the flowers in this cut file, but not everything else, because I think that that's the bit that's sort of missing for me on my layout. I really would have loved the look of having the florals there inside the hot air balloon backed, but instead I'm going to do the next best thing that I could think of, and I'm actually going to cover them, not all of them, but some of them, with ephemera from my collection. So I do apologize for the fussy cutting. I could have edited it out, but there's quite a bit. So it's like every second thing I do is fussy cut something. So it would have been a lot of stop, start. So I'm going to see how it goes. But if it gets a bit too much, then I will start cutting it out. I've got to say, which is a slight side note, those thickers are my ultimate fave. I love these stickers. I love the font. I love the wood grain. I just think they're the best. I am obsessed. These are my new favorite. Does anyone know if this font comes in other colors? I'm gonna have to go and look into that because yeah, new favorite for sure. So I decided during the live that I really needed those flower clusters to be like the base of where my clusters are going to go. I started off putting the you know, like the, I don't know what you'd call it, the thing that you'd pinpoint on a map, the pink one. I started by putting that and the rainbow in that cluster to the right hand side in between the photo and the hot air balloon, but it didn't have anything to anchor it, so that's why I decided I needed the floral cluster. And I'm so glad I did. I think that made a massive difference. But that's what made me start thinking that I needed to do a little bit more, basically cover up a few more of the florals there. Sorry, I'm getting a tiny bit distracted because I can hear my husband shouting, but not in an angry way, just talking loudly into the computer, and he's a little bit technology challenged. Just gonna put that on the down low, and I'm waiting for him to shout out that he needs some help, but hopefully they're getting there all on their own. So here I am now where I'm going to do a bit more of that bigger cluster up the top, covering that up with flowers. I liked the look of that bottom cluster, so of the hot air balloon, so that's how I'm going to keep going and see how we go. I really want to make sure that I'm getting a little bit of all the colours, especially after putting that banner across. I think the colours really need to pick up inside the floral. I really love that banner. I almost didn't do it, but I think it makes a really big difference to the whole feel of the layout, so I'm glad I put that on. I realised while I was talking live that I hadn't stuck anything down yet, and it had taken me this long. This is like an hour and a bit into the layout, and it had taken me this long to just plan it all. I'm like, oh my goodness, you need to start gluing, because if it's taken you this long just to plan it all, how much longer is it going to take you to glue it all? So I decided to just bite the bullet and start putting it down. I do only glue with a very small amount of glue, so it's not ideal for trying to pull things off, but a small amount of glue makes it easier to pull things off, just in case. So I am madly embellishing now, trying to get this finished, because I am aware of how long this video has been going. So in the live cross, I believe it's been going for about 2.5 hours. So kudos to the amazing people that sat through the entire live. And even for those that came and went, I was very impressed. It was a long time. So the problem being, of course, the issue at the start with the trying to emboss and then having that not work, then backing all my photos, and then now choosing to do all this fussy cutting. I hadn't really thought this through when I came up with the idea. I came up with the idea of doing these 3 layers of paint and then a see-through cut file, but then didn't really think through how long my which embellishing I wanted to use, and so therefore have them cut out ready to go. So well done to those people that stuck it out and put up with me fussy cutting everything piece by piece. So yeah, I am madly working away, but I am almost finished now. I just want to put in a couple more flowers up in this top part of the hot air balloon, and then I am going to do a couple of leaves, and then I'm pretty much done with the fussy cutting side of things, and I will just do a few little bits and pieces to sort of fill in, I guess, some of the gaps and add a little bit of detail. So just madly doing all of that. I'm also madly trying to edit and voice over this video in not the best of circumstances, meaning my 2 boys are literally within arm's reach of me and are probably making a lot of noise in the background for you. But to be able to have this video edited, voiceovered, and uploaded in time for March Madness, I've got to get a wriggle on, because this is my video for the day for March Madness. So I am madly, hence March Scrap Madness, trying to get this done. So have I mentioned I am using the Copa cut file, hot air balloon, I am using the April Kidaholics kit and the mixed media kit from March, I think.
Yeah.
Was it March? Oh, yes, it was definitely March. I love these stickers. These are like the ultimate. Steph, send me more at any time. They are the best. What else can I mention about what is happening? Basically, I'm just about finished. That's what I can mention to you. I am going to see if I can fit a couple of the puffy stickers on because they're super cute. But I'm going to do these two little butterflies. And a lovely lady, Linda, while I was doing this live, gave the awesome suggestion of popping some foam behind the wings of the butterfly so that they don't squash back down as soon as you put it in your album. So I loved that. I don't usually do that. I usually just bend it and it looks cute for the photo, but then it just gets flat once you put it inside your album. So I really was impressed with that. So thank you, Linda, for sharing that tip. I do manage to find a few words in the Cocoa Vanilla Legends that works with this girly layout. It's not about a boy, so that's awesome. What else? I think I'm going to sprinkle with some, oh no, I'm going to put some puffy stickers on because I love those Vicky Bouton puffy stickers. I tried to get a few more onto this layout, but it just didn't quite work. I think maybe if I had a thought about it a bit more carefully at the start of where I wanted these to go and could have sort of tucked them under a little bit more, and in and amongst bits and pieces, they might have worked a little bit better. But I didn't think of that in advance, so I end up not really using too many, just a few of the little tiny love hearts and spots, because the spots are so cute. I could put spots like those on every layout, and the love heart. I could just have an entire page of love hearts and spots. They are just the gorgeous little puffy things ever. And then I think I sprinkle with some Heidi Shine, and I am done, I think. I will pop some close-ups for you at the end so you can see it a little bit better. Because I know sometimes in these videos it is a little bit hard to see, and it's nice to see them close up. But yeah, I think that is it. So here I am trying to get, like that one says go and explore or something like that, which I thought just went really well with the feel of this video. Oh, I'm saying goodbye to someone in the live that's leaving. But that, yeah, it didn't quite work. And I end up taking one of the other puffies off. I think it says love this. It just looked wrong sitting down there. So now I'm just sprinkling on. I am still using my Heidi Swap Colour Shine, not the Jen Hatfield that came in the kit. Mostly just because I wanted to use up my Heidi Swap first before I started on the Jen Hatfield. But the Jen Hatfield Colour Shine looks really gorgeous. It's a really lovely colour. So I'm super excited to have that in the kit. Hopefully those of you who haven't used it can give it a go. I pretty much exclusively use my Colour Shine for sprinkles. So at least give that a go is my highly big recommendation. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment on our channel. Thanks everyone.